The stage lights dim slightly as the AGT logo fades from the giant screen. The audience murmurs with anticipation. From the shadows, a young girl, Luna, no older than 16, steps onto the stage, clutching a worn-out violin. Her white dress catches the light softly, making her look almost ethereal. The judges glance at each other, unsure what to expect. Simon Cowell raises an eyebrow, already skeptical. Terry Crews announces her name backstage, his voice echoing, "Give it up for Luna from the Philippines." A polite round of applause follows, but the room feels uncertain. Luna approaches the microphone, her hands trembling slightly as she speaks. "I've come to share something special, something my mom taught me." Her accent is gentle, her tone sincere. Simon leans forward. "So, what will you be doing for us today?" he asks. Luna smiles faintly, replying, "Just a song from my heart." She doesn't elaborate. She takes a deep breath, steps back, and lifts her violin. As the spotlight narrows on her, Luna draws her bow across the strings. A hauntingly beautiful melody fills the hall, soft at first, like a lullaby whispered through tears. The sound is delicate but deeply emotional, each note echoing with longing. The audience quiets instantly, even the judges stop fidgeting. The camera pans slowly across the audience, faces filled with surprise. It's not just her playing, it's the emotion behind it. Every stroke of her bow seems to tell a story of loss, hope, and love. By the time Luna closes her eyes and sways with her violin, the entire theater is spellbound. But as the music builds toward its peak, no one knows what's coming next, a twist that will leave even Simon speechless. The haunting violin melody continues to drift across the AGT stage, echoing through the silent crowd. Luna's bow glides gracefully, her eyes closed as if she's somewhere far away. The judges watch closely. Simon is nodding slightly, impressed but still unsure. Then, just as the music reaches its most delicate note, she suddenly stops. The sound cuts off. Gasps ripple through the audience. Simon tilts his head, confused. Did something break? Sofia Vergara whispers. Luna lowers her violin slowly, her fingers trembling. The pause stretches for a few seconds, long enough for the crowd to grow restless. Then, Luna steps forward, takes a deep breath, and opens her mouth. A voice unlike anything they've heard fills the hall, rich, angelic, and full of power. She begins to sing a soaring vocal line that perfectly intertwines with the melody she had been playing. Then, in one breathtaking move, she starts playing the violin again, singing and performing at the same time. The two sounds blend in perfect harmony, as if she's duetting with her own soul. The camera zooms in on her face, tears glisten on her cheeks, but she keeps singing, voice trembling with emotion. The audience sits frozen, mouths open, eyes wide. A woman in the front row clasps her hands over her heart. Simon's usual poker face disappears. He leans forward, whispering, "Oh my God." Heidi Klum covers her mouth, visibly moved. As Luna's voice climbs higher and higher, the lights change to a golden hue, bathing her in a warm glow. The crowd rises to their feet before she even finishes. Luna's music soars, pure and unstoppable, and for a moment, it feels as if time itself has paused. Every heartbeat synchronized to the sound of her violin and voice. Luna's voice soars through the theater like a beam of light piercing the dark. The combination of her singing and violin playing is otherworldly, no backing track, no orchestra, just one girl creating a storm of emotion. The camera pans across the crowd, people standing, eyes glistening, phones raised but hands trembling. It's not just a performance, it's an experience no one expected. On the judges' table, every reaction tells a story. Heidi Klum is already in tears, her mascara beginning to run as she whispers, "This is beautiful." Sofia Vergara clasps her hands over her heart, swaying gently with the rhythm. Howie Mandel looks stunned, shaking his head in disbelief, mouthing, "Unbelievable." And then there's Simon Cowell. The camera lingers on him. At first, he sits frozen, eyes locked on Luna, his usual analytical stare replaced by something softer, a rare mix of awe and emotion. He leans back in his chair, nodding slowly, his lips pressed tightly together as if holding back something deeper. The lighting shifts to deep blues and golds as Luna transitions into the climax of her piece. Her voice cracks slightly, not from mistake, but raw emotion. That small imperfection makes it even more powerful. The audience feels it, real pain, real love, real passion. Suddenly, the music cuts to silence on her final note. Luna stands still, bow lowered, tears streaming down her face. For a heartbeat, the theater is utterly silent. Then, an eruption. The entire audience leaps to their feet, clapping, screaming, crying. Simon rises slowly, a small, astonished smile forming. He looks toward his fellow judges and murmurs, "That was magic." The golden confetti isn't falling yet, but everyone can feel it coming. The cheers swell as Luna stands center stage, breathing hard, her violin still in her hand. The lights fade to a single golden spotlight that frames her like an angel. She wipes her tears, then looks up at the crowd, thousands of faces illuminated by the soft glow of the stage. The orchestra pit is empty, the only sound is her heartbeat echoing through the silence. She lifts her bow again. The audience quiets immediately, sensing something special is about to happen. Luna takes a deep breath, raises her voice one last time, and begins the final verse, a tender, emotional farewell to the song that has captivated millions in just a few minutes. Her violin joins in softly, the notes weaving through her vocals like a lullaby from heaven. The camera slowly circles around her as the music builds. Simon's eyes glisten, Heidi is openly crying. Even the backstage crew is frozen, watching from the monitors. Luna holds the final note longer than anyone thought possible, her voice trembling, yet strong, filling every corner of the theater. Then, with one graceful sweep of her bow, she ends the song. Silence. For a split second, time stands still. No one moves. Then, an explosion of applause. The audience leaps to their feet, roaring with cheers and tears. People wave their hands, shout her name, and cry out, "Golden buzzer." In unison, Simon rises from his seat, clapping slowly, shaking his head in disbelief. "That," he says, voice soft but full of emotion, "was one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen on this stage." Luna smiles through her tears, pressing her violin to her chest. The golden lights shimmer around her as if blessing her performance, a moment of pure, unforgettable magic. Backstage, the roar of the audience still echoes through the walls. Luna steps off the stage, shaking with disbelief. Her eyes are wet, her hands still clutching her violin like a lifeline. Terry Crews rushes over, his face beaming. "Luna, that was incredible. You just blew the roof off the place," he says, handing her a towel. She laughs through her tears, still trying to process everything that just happened. The camera zooms in as she takes a deep breath and whispers, "That song was for my mom." Terry's smile softens. "Tell us about her," he says gently. Luna nods, clutching the microphone. "My mom taught me to play the violin when I was 6. She used to say, 'Your violin speaks your pain, but your voice will speak your soul.'" Her voice breaks, but she continues. "I stopped singing after she passed away. I thought I'd never have the strength again, until tonight." The crew members behind her are visibly moved. Some wipe away tears. The screen cuts to a flashback montage, Luna as a little girl, playing violin beside her smiling mother, photos of them performing at church, a framed picture she carries in her violin case. Suddenly, Simon Cowell appears backstage. The crowd in the hallway parts as he approaches. Luna looks stunned. Simon smiles warmly, genuine and soft, and says, "You just gave us something we'll never forget." He places a hand on her shoulder. "Your mother would be very, very proud." Luna's eyes fill again, but this time with joy. She nods, whispering, "Thank you, sir." The scene ends with her walking toward the exit, violin in hand, golden confetti still falling behind her as the music swells, a young girl who turned grief into greatness.